no intimate content ever, or nudity to be asked for in a first audition. If it is wanted, if they do want to see a moment of intimacy or a sense of some sense of nudity of your physicality, that has to be asked for in preparation for a second audition. You have to be given notice for it. You are able to be invited to bring someone with you just to be a support person. And obviously, if it's going to be filmed, which very often they are these days, to have written up as in a contract, either through your agent or if you haven't got an agent, through yourself, that the commitment is that image, those images are only used for the purpose of the casting, and as soon as that role is cast, they're all destroyed. Because again, you don't want to be, you know, those images or that film leaking out, you know, which has happened and unfortunately found its way to adult sites. Don't want that. If someone does want to see a degree of your form, of your naked body, never, nakedness is not absolutely suitable. The least it should be is a gentleman wearing swimming trunks and a lady wearing a bikini. Yeah, that's it. Bottom line, no more. Not suitable, not needed. Yeah, and if they are asking for, I would be questioning the production. You know, people go, oh, we want to see some intimate content so we can see if they've got a spark. The irony is actually asking people to kiss who don't know each other in an audition actually makes people way more uncomfortable. And as you and I probably know, you know, we know that sort of like, you know, even just walking in a space with eye contact, you know, is going to show you the zhuzh and the frisson that two people have together, rather than actually asking them to come to physical contact. So yeah, so I'd like to be having those conversations, you know, if you want to see, if you want a chemistry read, what can you do? What techniques as directors know, you know, to be able to look at how those two people are going to interact with each other rather than intimacy. However, you know, people do want to see, you know, people coming to a kiss. And interestingly, particularly commercial castings, if that's what's asked in commercial casting, it actually seems to be more in those. And those will be, you know, invariably at a first audition. I've had, you know, like an actor in a casting audition, and they want to see them coming to a kiss. And of course, there was more women than men. So there was no sense of communication, of agreement and consent of touch, or choreographing the content. And he was there and he's kept in the room, and he said, like, let's just keep on doing the same kissing action with woman after woman. Completely unsuitable. If you are asked to do intimate content on a second audition, then you just take a pause and go, okay, what do you want as the director? And then go, right, let's pause, let's agree touch, what are you comfortable with? Yes, let's find the shape of the scene, choreograph it, and invariably it's just going to be a moment of intimacy, know what you're doing, and then you can say, right, now we're ready to give you what you want as the actor. So that's what you need to do. You as the actor, you do your rigorous work beforehand. You know, reading the script, you know, if there's source material, like you say, with normal people, reading the book, knowing what's there, and then really listening into yourself and going, what is actually suitable for me? What is okay for me? What might make me feel a bit nervous, but is still within my autonomy, you know, or what actually might be within that content that actually pushed me into feeling vulnerable. So that's what you're looking for. And yes, then considering, you know, what that content might be. And if the, you know, if it's in the breakdown, then it should absolutely be part of your conversation. If not perhaps in the first audition, certainly if you're then going to start to be offered the role, you know, then absolutely, if the director doesn't bring that conversation, you bring that conversation. And then again, really thinking what is okay for me. You know, so and the thing is, it works both ways. I'm saying, so I had a situation with a production where the producers had their preferred actor, but that actor said, with degrees of content, nudity and simulated sexual content, I'm not prepared to do that, the most full-on stuff that they was asked to do. And another actor who was their second choice, who wasn't as good as their first actor, said, I'll do that. So they went with him, and of course it came to it, and he still couldn't do it. You know, he really wasn't emotionally, psychologically ready to perform that degree of nudity that they were asking for. And then the production's coming to me and saying, well, we feel a bit duped. If we had actually known that we needed to take care in this way, we could have done that with actually our preferred person who would have led our whole production in a way better way. So I think it works both ways. I'm saying to producers, go with a person that you know is the best actor. And then especially with the role of the intimacy coordinator coming in, I mean, like we worked extensively with this production. And again, it's that thing of, oh, right, we can get the inference of the storytelling that we want through clever, through clear choreography and through camera angles. So the inference of the nudity that you want, and the physicality that that you might want. It might be full on, really edgy physicality if it's all done for real. But of course, we're looking at, okay, what's the storytelling? As an audience, say it's a moment of fellatio. An audience get it as soon as the head goes down. And as soon as the camera comes up to receiving pleasure, we know what's going on. So trusting that. You don't need, to see graphic, physical, images on camera for that storytelling to be really clearly told. So I'm saying to producers, trust, work, go with your preferred actor and trust that then we can work within their agreement and consent and still create something that's really exciting for you. And then the other way around with actors, I'm saying to them, feel into yourself and be prepared to have that really open and present conversation going, these are my boundaries, but this is what I can give you as the actor. And also I say to actors, if you know that what's been asked of you is really not suitable for you, but you're just desperate to get the job, equally respect yourself and respect your craft. And who, you always say to actors, invariably you will have spent your 100,000 hours training yourself. By the time you get to sort of starting to put yourself up for auditions, you'll have spent God knows how many thousands of pounds in developing yourself as a beautiful, think of your craft, say, as a beautiful Stradivarius cello. You've got to consider who you're going to give that to. Are you going to keep that in pristine condition so that you can keep giving your best and keep developing yourself and your craft as an actor? Or if if you're going to take yourself someone that's actually going to damage you and damage your craft, or allow yourself to be in a production with a director that hasn't got good practice, it's going to damage you, and you're not valuing yourself. You're not going to be able to give your best as an actor anyway. And perhaps that's not the job for you. So again, really dreaming into it and making those informed decisions, and perhaps saying no to a job that really isn't right for you in the hope that it'll be your breakout job. It will never be anyway. Trust that if you say no for the right reasons, you really will, the work will come that is right for you. And also you're leaving that role open for the person who that role really is right for. Yeah. So first of all, go to the Intimacy On Set site, read the guidelines, print them out, and have them with them at all times, and have a spare copy for the director, and understand what they mean. Yes, which is that if you haven't got an intimacy coordinator present, it's the narrative is that everybody, and this is where the intimacy guidelines have been able to come in post Me Too and Time's Up movement, is that the industry has said it's not suitable for us to turn a blind eye to people being predatory or abusive within our industry. So we are writing codes of conduct, and we are making a commitment to work with respect. So within the atmosphere that the industry is now committed to work with, for the actor to be able to say, I, as the actor, want to be able to give you, the best moments, the best scene that I can. The way I can do that is by working professionally and by working through the guidelines, which is, let's agree touch, choreograph it clearly, and then it means that everything's known, and then I can really give you the best of my skill for this scene. So if something's been asked of you that they're sprung on you, it's go, okay, great, I listen, I'm hearing what you're saying. Now can we pause? Let's just really discuss clearly what the intimate content is, and can we work through the guidelines? And then if they push back and say no to that and say, okay, great, let me go, if they haven't got an agent, then saying, okay, well, this isn't suitable for me, and especially if it's sprung on them on the day, they say, okay, I need to have a think about this. Let's not suitable for me to do it today. Let's take a step back and let's talk about it properly. And then if it is suitable, find another point in the schedule in order to do this content. When content is there that's either just for for sex's sake, or the production wanting more nudity, the actor can feel that, and that's actually what leaves them vulnerable and leaves them going home feeling that they've given something that really wasn't that was outside, that wasn't respecting them as an artist and wasn't respecting them as an actor. So all the work is, you know, should be, and all scenes should be there because it's serving character, serving storytelling, pushing the storytelling on in some way, or telling us something more about those characters individually and then those characters in relationship. And that's always, you know, what the starting point is, you know. So the work of the intimacy coordinator is serving the director's vision, and everybody having that intention of serving the writing to create the best art that you can. So that's the narrative, always. And so then in that actor-director rehearsal, interrogating the scene, why is the scene there? You know, what's the storytelling? What are the beats of the scene? You know, and then starting to fulfill what's asked for with the intimate content. That's what then also, you know, fills the actor up, just as the actor does, you know, in any other scene. They're going, you know, who is this character in this moment? What's their intention? What's their obstacle? Where does that sit in the body? You know, then what's my relationship? And all of that means that you can really give your all to the scene. It's exactly the same with the intimate content. Just because it goes from taking away words into physicality, it's still the same. We're still carrying on the storytelling, but it goes from the verbal into the physical, just as with a fight. You know, again, with a fight, people get annoyed, words get heightened, and then it breaks into a fight because it's so heightened it can't go anywhere else. But we know that fight is telling us still what the power play is, who's got the upper hand, you know, through to the end of the fight where one person's on the floor or somebody's dead and the next person walks away as a victory. It's the same with the intimate content. And when the actor can be full of intention and full of knowing that every single beat serves the storytelling, then they can be confident that they are, you know, that's their skill of the actor, one, that they can really get behind it and be full of the skill of the actor to create really excellent intimate content, and to know that they're not being exploited or made vulnerable unduly. So as with normal people, you know, Paul and Daisy, it is so lovely then hearing them with the various interviews since it's come out, that they know their journey, they know the care that was taken, they know that every single one of those intimate scenes was absolutely serving storytelling. And a way I think why there was such freedom and an agreement of all that content was because we had the book. You know, sort of very often, you know, if you have a TV series, they've got an outline, they've written the first 2 episodes, but then it's been written as you go. And so sometimes perhaps there's a surprise of like, oh, you know, I had an intimate moment in these first 2 episodes, but goodness, I didn't know I was going to be expected to do that in episode 4. But what was so fantastic with, I feel, and perhaps what helped for us to really release into it with a sense of freedom and really serving all of the intimate content that was required, was that we knew the whole arc. And also Sally's writing was so completely, you know, as I advocate, you know, and as she's spoken about, for her, each of those things are absolutely taking you further, exposing something more of this incredible relationship, physical relationship that Marianne and Connell had. And that's why everybody just has such a clear template of knowing that we were honouring this beautiful piece of writing, this beautiful art, and then lifting that into film. But that's what you want across the board. And as soon as within that conversation, as soon as the intimate content is gratuitous, it very soon gets called out and the actors will feel exposed. So I had a situation on a production where the director had written it and was directing. And when we did our check-in with all the intimate content, and there was one image that was really very full on, and it very much was an image, and the director had this image in their mind that they really were married to. But I was saying, why that image? What is it telling us? What's the story? What's the power play going on here? And she sort of explained it, but it didn't really explain it enough that it had to be that particular image that was really quite confronting. Then, of course, when we, you know, the producer then are calling us saying, these actors aren't happy. And then we speak to those actors in particular about that image and that scene. And they're going, director hasn't spoken to us. We're not happy to do that. You know, so instantly they can feel it. So we facilitated as intimacy coordinators, as in our role, to have that open conversation. So the actor, the 2 actors, the director and intimacy coordinator present, and then doing that job, reading the text, interrogating what the scene is about, what's the power play, what do you want it to show, and then they gradually develop the intimate content that came from that conversation. Everybody was getting so excited about the beauty, about the subtlety, about the, you know, the form that was then developing, you know, and the the image that the director had just faded away, because very quickly you could see it really wasn't suitable. And then everybody could get behind it, and very excitedly knowing that they were going to be creating this moment that was something really special. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm saying to actors, this process is inviting your agreement and consent, and we're wanting to know your positive no, what is not suitable for you, and we want to know that. And of course, that's a big shift in the industry. And actors are still nervous about, really, can I really tell you what's not okay for me? And will you really listen to that and respect that? And then only put in place everything that is okay for me? And in a way, we have to build trust in the industry, and actors to be able to build trust, to really, to really speak up about positively what isn't okay for them. And there's a lovely quote in this book, in the industry, and about the quote about consent. Consent is not a moment, but a process. Yeah, consent is not a moment, but a process. So you have that situation, you might have agreed to something, and then suddenly you're going, whoa, okay, actually, no, this isn't okay. And again, it's taking that pause and going, actually, I need to re-choreograph this, or actually, I'm not prepared to be, to have the influence of complete nudity. I'm not prepared to take my flesh-coloured shorts off, yes, today. And that great, let us know that. And we can change the camera angles, and I've absolutely done that. The scene has been set up that we would want the side shot where you had the influence of complete nudity, but on that particular day, it was not suitable for that actor to be completely naked. They kept their flesh-coloured shorts on, and we changed the camera angles, and the influence of nudity was completely there. And I tell you, you'd be surprised probably if I said which scene it was. Nobody would be any the wiser that that person wasn't actually ever completely naked in that scene. So it's inviting the actor to hold both at places of personally keeping open to listening to themselves, so that they can professionally be free. And of course, that's not been there before. What's happened in the past is an actor's got to go, right, I've got a sex scene today, and you shore yourself up, and in a way you take a deep breath, and you don't feel, or you have your pints of Guinness, and you get on with it. And it's not until that evening, or you've gone to sleep, and in your dreams it comes to you, or the following morning you've gone, oh, what have I done? That's what we don't want. So that's what I'm saying to actors. First of all, be in your body. So when you say, what can an actor do if they're really nervous? They can utilize their warm-up, whatever warm-up works for them. Yes, so they are open, centered, present, and grounded. Yeah, ready to do that work. And if they get ungrounded, then go back out. If you need to sort of take a step outside the studio and go and walk barefoot on the grass, or you go back outside, shake out, have a breath, do a roll down, reset, come back. Whatever it is, go out, have a fag. Whatever is your thing to do, but you keep that awareness, so that I know you keep that awareness of who I am personally, what is still okay for me, so that you can be free professionally. And so being aware of that and being able to speak up. And of course, it can happen in a moment, can't it? You can go from being all right, and then something happens, you see a gaze, say, from somebody in the crew, the way they look at you, you suddenly feel, oh no, not feeling comfortable, and being able to call a halt to it. So if you're working with an intimacy coordinator, that's absolutely the boundary that we're helping to support. And the scene with intimate content, the actor has the autonomy to halt the action, just like the first AD or the director. And we always say, like, hey, what words do you want today? Sometimes it is Guinness, sometimes it's bananas, sometimes it's Wakanda, so that's really important. So that calling a halt to the intimate scene, so you can take 5 when needed. But if you haven't got an intimacy coordinator present, always what keeps you safe is bringing up the guidelines and having those conversations way before you ever get to set. Yes, it's about in that preparation, and you start that conversation before you take the job. So as we said, going back to our auditions, if you see there's intimate content there, don't just go, oh, okay, I've read that and we'll get to it when we come to it. And you have directors going, well, you read the script. That influence of, well, you read the script, so you took the job, you know what's happening. Don't ever leave it to that. Yes, assumption is the biggest enemy, because you don't know what people are assuming. You assume something that is completely different to what someone. Open communication and transparency, and that starts from before you accept the job. So, and if you started the conversation way back then, again, as we said, as the actor, you identify the intimate content, and if the director hasn't brought it, you bring it. Yes, so you start that conversation, and then you keep that conversation going. As the intimacy coordinator, even if we've had rehearsal period, I will always recheck in with the director a couple of days before we get to set, and then I'll check in with the actors, before we get to set, to go, okay, how are you feeling? Any concerns? And then if there are anything, putting that in place. So as an actor, if you're without an intimacy coordinator, then you do that. You ask the second AD, okay, can I make an appointment, please, to check in with the director, and always have it the night before is too late as well. A couple of days before the scene, to recheck in. A good time very often is when the director is in their car going home. That's good talk time. So they've got that liminal space where they can do the phone calls, and then once they get inside their front door and their home, or their hotel room, they want to have their time. So ask the second AD to set up that call. And you check in with the director, and you just checking, this is what you want from the scene, this is the degree of nudity, this is where I'm at with it, so that you're just having that conversation again. And also you can say your concerns. So for example, on Sex Education, the first series, with the scene where Adam and Eric kiss, they're in the they start the fight in the music room, and then they go into rolling around each other, into intimate moment, into spitting on each other's faces, and then into the kiss. Now, both of them said to me when I checked in with them, well, I'm concerned about the spitting. And I said, well, let's just try it once. We'll get a substance. You won't ever use your own spittle, and we'll check it out. They did it once, and they both went, not prepared to do that again. So in that instant, we have to go, okay, how are we going to film this? There's a bit of a ooh from the whole production, and then very quickly camera angles are changed, piece of paper, spit onto piece of paper, making the substance, so then they would spit, act as if they've received the spit. So because they both shared their concerns, we knew that was something that was flagged up, and they also knew that they had the autonomy to go, I'm doing it, but I'm feeling how it was for them, and to go, that's not suitable for us. That takes me into a place of feeling vulnerable, or not good. So that's what you're looking for, having that open communication set up, so that if that does happen, that communication and then the pathway through to be able to re-choreograph is already understood and within the process of how you're going to be working on this production. It's really important for the actor to see those intimate scenes in some way before the rest of the world does. There's different points at which an actor can see that. So you can either, on the day that you're filming it, obviously you're not going to come and see every take, but to say at the end of each setup, can I come and have a look at the scene? That works for some actors and some directors. Yes, but some actors, it takes them out of it, and actually they need to stay in the role. Some directors don't want to slow up the day like that, but that's one option. Another option is that you ask the production to prepare a rough cut, to prepare the rushes, for you to be able to see the rushes the next day or the next time you're on set. And again, I've done that in other productions. And another option is that you've agreed with the production that you will see the rough cut of the edit. So that will mean that you'll see that, probably after filming has finished, a couple of months down the line, when they've got together that rough cut. That works very well, I think. But then also you have to be clear with the production what autonomy you have, if regarding, if you just think, I've got a bit of cellulite on my thighs, I don't like that, but that's a brilliant take, and nobody else has seen that, and everybody else thinks is brilliant. That probably won't. They'll probably go, well, you've seen it, you know what the scene is, but actually that's a fantastic take. But anyway, that has to be agreed with a production. But it's really important as the actor to discuss at what point, can I see the intimate scenes, And it is really important, you know. So I had an actress on, again, on sex education, on other scenes with intimate content, she'd been able to see it on the day. On this particular scene, she had to rush off to the next scene and she hadn't seen the playback. And when I checked in with her, she said, I'm feeling really vulnerable. I haven't seen it and I need to see it. So that's the one where they arranged the rushes. And she saw it, and then I checked back in with her and she go, great, thankfully, yeah, really happy, absolutely, you know. So that's really, really important, yeah, so that you know that you're comfortable with what you've given to this production of your simulated sexual content and your nudity, and so that you're not having to have a shock, you know, when you're seeing it with the rest of the world. A director can still get the influence of someone being naked without you ever being nude. So there's so many different versions of modesty garments that you can wear. So you can have flesh colored bandanas. So again, you can have that influence of nakedness to here. You can have kissing shoulders. If you want to have the influence of complete nakedness, another one that we've done is sort of like a swimsuit, flesh colored swimsuit, where it's sort of, you know, on, and it comes up and has a halter neck. So if you have your hair down, and then you've got the influence of a beautiful complete naked back. You know, I've got actresses who have gone, I'm not prepared from my belly button down to my knees to be seen, but we had a naked scene. So she had flesh colored shorts on and we shot from her head up the line of her back, you know, to the person, you know. So to know as an actor that if you're not comfortable in being completely naked, you never have to be. There are so many ways, you know, and again with, you know, with the wardrobe, we work with the wardrobe, like I say, flesh-coloured bandanas, flesh-coloured pants, flesh-coloured G-strings, flesh-coloured shorts, and that's for gentlemen and you know, for ladies and men. So so trust. What's for you as the actor, it's better that you be within your agreement and consent and your autonomy, because you know that that's going to leave you free to really serve this storytelling. As soon as you say yes to something that actually is making you go, but this is already there, you're not available as the actor. So it's trusting that, and trusting then, you know, and also it's offering the director solutions, not problems. It's not saying, oh, I'm not happy to do nakedness. It's like, this is what I can offer you. I can offer you, you know, this is, you know, flesh color that, you know, I'm not, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, from my belly down my knees, it's always covered, but, you know, but I am comfortable in this. And then I can, working through the intimacy guidelines, I can give you the best scene. So flip it as well. They're thinking, you know, yes, what's out of bounds, but then therefore what are you offering? What is the solution to the director? Yeah. So you're positively saying, this is what I can give you. So I'm saying to you as the actor, going into a scene, to be present in your body, so that you can body listen and do what's right for you. So you're doing that work coming into a day of work, using your warm-up. So then, you know, what I will invite everybody, and for you as the actor, to bookend, so that equally you're keeping the container of that work within your day of work. You know, and we spoke about what to do if you sort of feel you're a bit overwhelmed, you know, about resetting. But here at the end of the day, again, use your techniques, use, you know, whatever physicality, your warm downs. So is it shaking out? Is it is it sort of you know, doing a roll down? Is it you know, sort of doing a body parts, going through each body part to shake out? Is it visualizing a waterfall that takes it away, and then really consciously stepping back into self? It might be that in your trailer, in your shower, when you have your shower, you consciously let go of character, come back to self. It might be taking your character's clothes off, you know, but whatever you do. So again, it helps keep you not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically healthy. If you don't let go, you're sort of backing up yourself with the residue of what you've been doing and what you want to be able to do, particularly if, you know, like on Normal People, there's continuous and ongoing, you know, sexual content. You want to be able to do a really good day and then let go, so that you're clean, you're empty. Yes, you can really come back to self. So then you're fresh and clear to be able to come back and re-engage. And I've had that, particularly on a theatre play, where I said to this actress, you need to bookend and let go of the content each and every evening. And I came and saw the play at the end, and I could see that she just hadn't done it. And I could see that she'd stopped being able to really go to where she needed to go to, because that feeling of she hadn't put that practice in place. And so she'd stopped being able to really go to the place that served the storytelling, because she could no longer sustain doing that every night. And so that's really important, to put in your professional practice bookending, that you can leave. And again, that separation, leave professional self, leave character, coming back to personal self, so that you keep yourself physically, emotionally, and psychologically healthy.